Traces of illegal VX nerve agent found on 2 suspects. Australia tightens security with creation of driver's license photo database. Thanks for being with me, Renee Fong, on the evening edition of News on 2. Entering the 4th day of the Kim Jong-nam murder trial, a government chemist, Raja Subramaniam, testified he had found traces of the illegal VX nerve agent on the 2 suspects who are being charged with the assassination. The testimony at the proceedings held this morning at the Shah Alam High Court before Judge Dato Azmi Arifin is the first concrete evidence linking the chemical weapon to Siti Aisyah and John T. Hong, accused of smearing the lethal nerve agent on Jong-nam's face. According to Raja Subramaniam, also the head of the Government Centre of Chemical Weapon Analysis, the VX nerve agent was found on Huang's white jumper and fingernails, as well as on Aisha's sleeveless T-shirt after examinations had been conducted at the Chemistry Department laboratory. He confirmed that the VX was found on Jong-nam's face, eyes, clothing, in his bloodstream and urine. Of the VX, Raja explained that the best decontamination method is to wash affected area under running water and scrub within 15 minutes of VX exposure. Huang and Siti Aisyah, who have not testified, have pleaded not guilty to the murder charge, stating that they were fooled by North Korean agents into believing they were playing a harmless prank for a hidden camera TV show. Both will face the death penalty if found guilty. The trial is being closely monitored by the Indonesian and Vietnamese governments, which hired the defense lawyers for both the accused. Malaysia is targeting to reduce the usage of hydrochlorofluorocarbon HCFC by 35% by 2020 in an effort to restore the ozone layer compared to 10% in 2015. Natural Resources and Environment Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar said the second stage of a phase-out management plan would focus on technological change by using non-HCFC alternatives in the foam manufacturing sector and ban the consumption of HCFCs in fire extinguisher manufacturing. Malaysia has been given $6.1 million by the implementation of Montreal Protocol Fund to carry out the implementation of the Phase-Out Management Plan known as HCFC Phase-Out Management Plan Stage 2, 2017 and 2020. Datuk Seri Dr. Wan Junaidi said the ban on HCFC would give industries in Malaysia the opportunity to improve energy efficiency and expand the development of green economy.
Berasa amat percaya dengan kita sendiri ataupun optimistik yang kita akan berjaya dalam melaksanakan ini oleh kerana kita dah melihat kesan daripada pelaksanaan fasa yang pertama dan fasa yang kedua ini, dan kita lihat pemain dalam industri ini pun bekerjasama dengan kita.
He said this after launching the 2017 International Ozone Day celebrations held in Putrajaya. HCFC is an ozone-destroying substance controlled under the Montreal Protocol on materials which thins the ozone layer. The substance is mainly used as refrigerants and in the manufacturing of foam and solvent. The 365 million ringgit endocrine complex to be built next to Hospital Putrajaya is poised to become the referral centre for multiple categories of endocrine patients nationwide. Health Minister Datuk Seri Dr. S. Subramaniam said the complex, which is due to be completed in January 2020, is the first endocrine centre in Malaysia to accommodate the growing number of endocrine patients. The complex will also house a research centre and an institute to train and produce more endocrinology specialists in the country.
Dan selepas siap, dia akan menjadi satu pusat rujukan kepada kes-kes endokrinologi daripada seluruh negara. Bukan saja terhad kepada kawasan Putrajaya, tapi seluruh negara. Dan ia pun akan menjadi satu pusat latihan di dalam bidang kepakaran endokrinologi yang pelbagai jenis dan satu pusat penyelidikan di dalam bidang itu.
Datuk Sri Dr. Subramaniam was speaking at the groundbreaking ceremony of the Hospital Putrajaya's Endocrine Complex construction project today. All aspects of safety, including improving existing facilities and other needs of Tahfiz schools, will be among the motions to be proposed in the 2018 budget. Deputy Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Datuk Dr. Ashraf Wajdi Dusuki, expects additional allocations and incentives will be announced aimed to strengthen the Islamic education system in the country. Datuk Dr. Ashraf advised all private Tahfiz schools to come forward and register with the nearest state religious departments.
Cuma kali ini pendekatan yang kita nak pastikan supaya apa yang dihasratkan oleh Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri, apa juga peruntukan atau sumbangan yang kerajaan nak bagi kali ini memang digunakan dan dimanfaatkan sepenuhnya untuk memastikan aspek keselamatan ini dapat ditingkatkan.
He said this after closing a religious program held in Langkawi. In the 2017 budget, the government had approved an 80 million ringgit allocation for religious schools and another 30 million ringgit to streamline Tahfiz education. Meanwhile, the Welfare Association of Wives of Ministers and Deputy Ministers Bhakti today made contributions totaling 1.6 million ringgit to the families and students of the recent fire tragedy at Tahfiz Darul Quran Ittifaqiyah School. Bhakti President Datin Sri Rosmah Mansor said the religious school was very close to Prime Minister Datuk Sri Najib Tun Razak's family, as the children had been coming to their home in Taman Duta every Thursday night to recite the Yasin and perform prayers. Speaking when delivering the contribution at Sri Perdana, she said the students also recited the entire Quran and performed Tarawih prayers during Ramadan. At the events today, Datin Sri Rosmah presented contributions to 40 recipients, including families of 23 fire victims who perished in the fire, and 6 families of injured students and another 11 students who survived the fire. Datuk Sri Najib was also present to spend time with the families affected by the tragedy. The Prince of Wales and the Duchess of Cornwall will make their maiden official visit here next month, celebrating the United Kingdom's partnership with Malaysia on shared priorities ahead of the Commonwealth Summit to be held in the UK in April 2018. The visit is part of a tour Malaysia, Singapore and India as Commonwealth nations and will be held from October 30th to November 9th. Prince Charles, who is the next heir to the British throne, and Camilla will arrive in Kuala Lumpur on November 3rd before visiting Sarawak, Perak and Pulau Pinang. Key events in the program include a gala dinner celebrating 60 years of diplomatic ties between the UK and Malaysia, including a celebration of the Commonwealth. In Sarawak, Prince Charles and Camilla will see firsthand the work being done to promote wildlife conservation and the protection of biodiversity. The royal couple will end their visit to Malaysia in Georgetown and will have the opportunity to meet members of the different religious and ethnic communities who live side by side in the UNESCO World Heritage Site and to experience its rich cultural heritage. 109 cartons of contraband cigarettes of various brands worth 12,000 ringgit were seized from a sundry shop in Felda Air Tawar, Lima, Johor during a police raid last night. A team from the Kota Tinggi District Police Department also nabbed the 40-year-old shop owner during 11:15 p.m. raid. Kota Tinggi District Police Chief Superintendent Amson Bajat said the cigarette cartons were hidden under the counter as well as inside the shop. The suspect was detained under Section 135 of the Customs Act 1967 for knowingly in possession of contraband cigarettes. He has been remanded for 3 days from today to aid in the investigations. An actor with a Dato' title was remanded once again for 2 days, beginning today, to assist into the investigation of a housing scam which led to 6.2 million ringgit in losses being incurred by victims of the scheme. The remand order was read out by the Assistant Registrar of the Muar Magistrates Court this morning. The suspect, who arrived in court at 9 a.m, was arrested under Section 420 of the Penal Code for fraud, and if found guilty can be jailed for up to 10 years, caned and fined. He was earlier arrested on Tuesday and was released at 6 p.m. yesterday, only to be re-arrested and brought to the Muar District Police Headquarters for further investigation. Bukit Aman Commercial Crime Investigation Department Director, Commissioner Datuk Sri Asril Sani Abdullah Sani said 201 police reports were received from those who claimed to have been cheated by two companies which offered homes below the market price. These included 1,650 square feet bungalows offered at only 60,000 ringgit each. However, once payment was made, the construction does not take place. An assistant administrator from the Hospital Sultanah Nur Zahira's HSNZ Department of Dietetics and Food Service was brought to court on 16 charges under Section 4, Subsection 1, Subsection B of the Anti-Money Laundering, Anti-Terrorism Financing and Proceeds of Unlawful Activities Act 2001, Act 613. The 16 charges involves 132,277 ringgit and 33 cent, as well as the transfer of 30,000 ringgit, of which the balance was used up. However, the accused Nur Mazida Mukhtar pleaded not guilty to the charges and claimed trial. The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission (MACC) was alerted to the crime when the accused performed a money transfer transaction from a local bank account belonging to J Excellent Enterprise to her husband Muhammad Fikri Izani's bank account. Kuala Terengganu Sessions Court Judge Muhammad Haldar Abdul Aziz allowed a 40,000 ringgit bail with one surety. The case mentioned has been set for October 23rd. Previously, the accused and her husband were convicted on September 20th for making false claims amounting to 211,000 ringgit for supplying milk and eggs to HSNZ's Department of Dietetics and Food Service. A manager of a retirement home in Taman Johor, Johor Bahru, pleaded not guilty on the charges of trafficking and forced labour on 5 foreign women. The accused, Tan Chang Kiong, 60, had the charges read to him in front of Judge Muhammad Khalid Daub Karim. According to the charge sheet, the accused was charged for trafficking 5 suspects aged between 22 and 50 on July 2nd at the retirement home in Johor Bahru. He was charged under Section 12 of the Anti-Trafficking in Persons, Anti-Smuggling of Migrants Act 2007, Act 670. Deputy Public Prosecutor Siti Asma Zainal Arifin asked the judge to impose 20,000 ringgit bail for each charge, but was objected by lawyer M. Vinodaran, who represented the accused. The judge later allowed a 20,000 ringgit bail for the accused with surety for all the charges and set October 10th and 11th for remention of the case. 2 men were shot dead by a lone assailant at a cafe at Lorong Pahlawan 7A2 in Cebu at about 12:15 p.m. today. The victims were a 47-year-old man from Jalan Tekam and 21-year-old man from Song Kapit. The attack occurred when they were having some drinks with a female companion, said to be a Chinese national, at the sidewalk of the cafe. The man, who then fled on a motorcycle parked nearby, was believed to have used a pistol based on the casings found at the scene. Confirming the incident, Sarawak Police Commissioner Dato' Amir Awal said a special task force has been formed to investigate the killing. The Chinese woman, however, did not suffer any injuries. Meanwhile, the suspect in the murder case in Kampung Ana, Tumpat, Kelantan, was arrested yesterday around 100 meters from the crime scene. Deputy State Police Chief SAC Din Ahmad verified that the suspect, 29, who is mentally unstable, has 3 records of criminal conduct.
Hubungan suspek dengan masa adalah jiran, bersebelah rumah saja. Bila kita buat semakan lanjut, suspek merupakan seorang OKU mental.
Speaking at a press conference in IPK Kelantan in Kota Baru, he stated that the suspect was supposed to have undergone psychiatric treatment in September of last year but had failed to do so. The case is being investigated under Section 302 of the Penal Code. Also seized along with the suspect was a fishing rod believed used by the suspect to hit the victim, Muhammad Khairi Muhammad Yusof, 47. The victim was found drenched in blood by fellow villagers at around 10 p.m. yesterday. Coming up next, Malaysia climbs up World Economic Ranking list. Welcome back. 5,000 entrepreneurs nationwide are expected to participate in the Entrepreneurship Challenge AmBank Biz Race, aimed at providing small and medium enterprises SMEs with access to valuable knowledge sharing sessions and development training. AmBank's Managing Director, Business Banking Division, Christopher Yap, said the challenge covers the areas of leadership development, improvements in the business model, as well as system and structure and culture transformation. He said the move is based on AmBank's collection of significant data showing that SMEs need access to knowledge, skills and opportunities to move to the next life cycle of their businesses. Participating SMEs will also have an opportunity for greater market accessibility from a branding perspective.
We want to find out and want to get the companies to come in. We want to give them a lot of exposure in terms of training, in terms of mentorship, in terms of leadership training, media exposure, so that we can help them to grow to the next stage and scale to a different level. For example, selepas 3 tahun, maknanya mungkin you turn over 10 juta, we want to help them to grow to 30 juta or 50 million. Or how do we help them to move to international?
He said this at the AmBank Biz Conference held at Iskandar Putri, Johor today. According to current statistics, SMEs made up 97.3% of business establishments in Malaysia, and almost 80% of companies do not get past the 3-year mark. AmBank hopes the Biz Race will continue the support that small businesses really need to continue their journey, focusing on their strength and market interests.
The observation coverage area.
Malaysia has improved its World Economic Ranking by climbing up 7 steps from 72 to place itself at 65th in position out of 159 free economic countries, based on the 2017 Economic Freedom of the World Index EFP report. The report was calculated based on the data for the index gathered in 2015. The report also placed Malaysia 4th in position among ASEAN countries after Singapore, Philippines and Cambodia. Indonesia and Laos meanwhile placed 5th and 6th. The report published by Fraser Institute in Canada listed the position based on each country's institution and national policies which encouraged economic freedom. Coal gas explosions reported at Eastman Chemical Plant. This and more coming up in our foreign segment. Australia's federal and state governments have agreed a framework for adding driver license photographs to a nationwide database ahead of April's Commonwealth Games on the Gold Coast. Evening's News on 2. In our top story, traces of illegal VX Nerve agent found on 2 suspects. Join us again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon for more updates. I'm Renee Fong. Thanks for watching and have a pleasant evening.